Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's Daryl here. It is 4 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Speaking of the East Coast, I'm going to do a video later from the actual coast. Anyway, I got a lot to talk about, and I might skip around a little bit because a lot of this I feel is connected. All right, we have the Department of Homeland Security talking about sending federal troops, just like in Portland. They're talking about sending them to Chicago. Well, they kind of let the cat out of the bag. They say that they can't talk about their upcoming missions across sending troops into our cities across the country. People should be alarmed about this. Trump talks about sending these troops into liberal Democrat run cities that are run by liberal Democrats. He said this several times. What he's saying there is he's sending troops in to squash this political opposition. This isn't about violence. This is about, okay, let's separate the kinds of violence here. Okay, they used Chicago and 68 gun deaths last weekend as an excuse to send federal troops in there. I've talked about this before. I've got a history with drug dealing and drug use, 23 years of it. I used to go down to the South Bronx, probably one of the most dangerous places in the United States. I've shot Tech 9s, Mac 10s. Back when I was going down to New York City, 7 people a day or night were dying in New York City, being killed, shot to death. This is drug violence. The 68 deaths in Chicago, why do people kill each other? Over money. Money, where's the money come from? From drugs, from gangs. Gangs are fueled by drugs. They are funded and fueled by drugs. That is the main source of this violence, without a doubt. What Trump is talking about and what he's aiming these federal troops at isn't the source of this gun violence, in my opinion. He's aiming these troops at peaceful protests against him. So we have peaceful protests, hundreds of people in the streets. We got some graffiti. We might have some broken windows, stuff like that. Yeah, maybe once in a while we got some water bottles thrown at the police. So we got that over here. Over here, we have this violence, drug-fueled violence by gangs that has been going on for decades. It's been upped recently because of crystal meth. The main drug used to make crystal meth was outlawed in the United States. This gave a chance for the Mexican mafia to take over production of crystal meth, which they have done amazingly well. And that would make most U.S. corporations look like amateurs. They took over production, and the Mexican mafia has a distribution chain running up into Chicago, especially up from Mexico. And it's distributed to American gangs who then break it down for street sales. This is a huge, unbelievable source of money. Money fuels this violence. So over here, we have drug-fueled violence, which has nothing to do with the Black Lives Matter movement or any of that. It's fueled by drug addiction in the United States and the Mexican mafia, Mexican cartels, providing the drugs that Americans want. That's the main. You got the 68 deaths in Chicago, guaranteed. I don't know, but I can guarantee you 99% of those, 99.9% of those gun deaths were related to these drug-fueled gang violence over here, and not the Black Lives Matter protests over here. Trump is aiming to send his Department of Homeland Security troops to confront the Black Lives Matter people over here, which will do nothing for the drug-fueled violence over here. That's my straightforward opinion. You guys can argue it all you want. I've seen it firsthand. So you guys can give me all the opinions you want. All right, so now Trump talks about he's going to come out and do conferences, at least one or a couple a week, on the coronavirus. Why? Because his polls are down. Does he care about the people of the United States? No. It's because his polls are down. Why did he stop them? Because his ego is hurt. Because he said that ridiculously stupid thing about injecting people with disinfectant. That hurt his ego. He was made fun of. He stopped the the daily or weekly briefings on coronavirus because his ego is hurt. Despite the fact that it would still help Americans, or at least make some Americans feel comfortable if they could see the president, but his ego is hurt. So he ran, he was all angry. He took his ball and he went home. He was angry. Now he knows it could help him in the polls. He's coming back on TV. Does this have anything to do with the coronavirus or the health of Americans? Absolutely not. It's all about Donald Trump. You guys, look, you Trump supporters, you can argue all day, but the facts are the facts. All right, now, this might get me demonetized, but I'm going to lay this out like I see it. I believe his name is Don Hollander, something like that. His last name's Hollander. A Trump supporter, a crusader against the feminazis. This is the guy that tried to kill a federal judge. Okay? So we have Trump supporters, once again, middle-aged white male going on a gun rampage. Again. While Trump is saying that, oh, we have these anarchists tearing apart the country, but month after month, we have Trump supporters going on gun rampages, doing the real damage and the real violence, targeting federal judges. So while Trump is sending out his federal troops to fight his opposition in these liberal cities, his supporters are trying to kill federal judges that are against him. Can you see what's going on here? All right, now let's get on to Hollander here. This guy was a lawyer. He actually had a case where he argued against ladies' night at the bars. Okay? You know, because chicks get free drinks, right? Yeah, I still say chicks. I love women. I grew up with women. I feel more comfortable around women. I'm going to tell you the flat out truth right here. Guys like this have issues, have insecurity issues, have more than likely have size issues in their manhood. That's I believe that for years. These guys with the big guns, the big trucks, the guys that flooded the Michigan State courthouse with the guns. I think a lot of these guys are lacking downstairs. I truly believe that. I'm going to take this even a step further. I think this is a reason a lot of these white guys don't like minorities, because they feel like the minorities are going to steal their women. I believe that. I truly believe that. All right. So Hollander here, he's against ladies' night. When I grew up, when I was in my teens and 20s, we loved ladies' night because the place was packed with women. It wasn't a freaking sausage fest. Why this guy would argue against ladies' night, I have no idea. This is a man who hates women, who is scared of women. I don't get it. I don't get it. And there's no doubt that he's a Trump supporter, because they have some quotes on the news overnight where he complained about the judge that he tried to kill. Sorry, I can't remember her name offhand. He shot her husband and he killed her son, right? He complained about her before. And this was, I'm going to paraphrase here, but he said that she was a feminazi Latina judge appointed by Obama. Now, if that doesn't say Trump supporter, if that doesn't have Trump supporter written all over it, I don't know what does. I shouldn't even, like I said, I'm not making a joke of this at all. And this is all connected. As Trump sends these federal troops out to fight his political opposition under the guise of violence in the inner cities. I'm not saying there's not violence in these inner cities. Without a doubt there is. It's fueled by drugs. Without a doubt. People aren't shooting each other at these Black Lives Matter protests. They're not. It's an ongoing drug-fueled gang violence due to the overwhelming amount of Americans addicted to drugs that have money to buy to fuel this epidemic of drug use. The 68 people killed in Chicago probably had nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. Yeah, I said probably. So Trump sends his troops in under the guise of fighting this violence. He's quoting statistics from the drug-fueled gang violence in order to send troops that aren't going to confront the gang violence. They're going to confront the Black Lives Matter protesters, which have nothing to do with the gun-fueled gang violence over here. And meanwhile, another Trump supporter, is out shooting people on a gun-fueled rampage. Oh yeah, and there's one more thing I wanted to talk about. This is just off the top of my head. I can't remember their names. The couple, I call them Ken and Karen, that were in front of their McMansion down in Georgia with the gun. They're all nervous with the protesters peacefully walking by. Remember those two? The guy with the pink shirt, and the AR-15 or whatever it was, and his big chubby wife with the pistol. Remember those two? Well, they're getting prosecuted. Why? Because what they were doing was instigating violence in a peaceful protest. You see the protesters walking by, and the protesters are telling each other, just keep going. Ignore them. Just keep going. As Ken and Karen here are pointing their guns at the people walking by. Yeah, they're getting charged. Rightfully so. This is where we're at. And all the while, the coronavirus rages on. And we're dealing with this. Trump is turning his attention, trying to distract and trying to target his opposition. This is all part of his polls going down. Sending these troops in, not to target the real source of the violence, but to target his political opposition in liberal Democrat cities. He said it himself. He's sending these troops into cities run by liberal Democrats. If that's not targeting your political opponents, I don't know what is. We're in North Korea here now. Welcome to North Korea. Kim Jong-il is his BFF, his best friend forever, so we got to vote this guy out in November. You guys have a good Tuesday.